like you think. So the skill of the slave master, if I can get my slave to think he's nothing and I'm everything, then he'll look to me and not to himself. And if you look at us, we don't think much of ourselves. Why? Because we don't really know who we are, therefore you don't know what to expect of yourself. When you're robbed of your history, see, you don't know what you did, what your fathers did in life, so you really don't know what you're supposed to do. You're a fool that don't know what. So let's see who we are. Now, the Bible and the Quran, both books, talk about Adam as the father of all human beings. Bible says Adam, Quran says Adam. Well, let's start with him, since that's where it all begins. And God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Stop right there. That's a powerful statement. If you and I are made in the image and the likeness of God, then when I look at you, who am I looking at? Oh, I want you to think before you talk now. I'm going to say it slower. If you are made in the image and the likeness of God, when I'm looking at you, who am I looking at? Now, how does Jesus square with that? Would Jesus say, Farrakhan, don't mislead these people any further. You know doggone well you ain't looking at God when you look at them. Jesus wouldn't say that. Jesus said, how can you love God whom you have never seen? Oh, it's in the scriptures. And hate your brother whom you see every day. Now check this out. Now what is Jesus saying? He's saying that the same thing that you love in God is sitting right up in your brother, for your brother and you were made in the image and the likeness of God. You can't see it now because we're all acting the fool. But that's not who you are. That's what circumstances have made of you under wrong guidance. But if you were rightly guided, you would manifest God so that when I see you, I would see God. Now let's look at this. Where's your proof of that, Farrakhan? Jesus said, when the disciples asked him, Master, when were you hungry and we fed you not? When were you naked and we clothed you not? When were you out of doors and we gave you not shelter? When were you sick and in prison and we ministered not unto you? Then Jesus said, inasmuch as you have not done it unto the least of these, my brethren, you have not done it also unto me. He took the least and made him his brother. Whoa. Whoa, look at this now. You mean you the brother of Jesus? You have to be. When they said, Master, teach us how to pray, he said, pray on this wise, our Father. Wait, now let's stop right there. Stop right there. He's telling you, my Father is your Father. You are not the children of a lesser God. The same Father that fathered my life fathered your life. So how in the world can you not have respect for yourself when you are the brother of Jesus? Man made in the image and the likeness of God. David the psalmist said, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. Well now, I'm a young God or an older God, and you are a God. So when I serve you, I'm serving God. When I do right by you, I'm doing right by God. When I mistreat you, I'm mistreating God. If I'm unjust to you, I'm unjust to God and to myself. Why do you say this, Farrakhan? You can't equate nothing or no one with Allah. Yes, nothing or no one is equal with Allah. But Allah created all of us to reflect Him. Otherwise, how can you wear Allah's name? What justifies you to be Muhammad, Hassan, Hussein, Kareem? These are the names of God. Well, why should you wear a name of God if you can't reflect that attribute in your life? God don't make you to reflect less. Man and woman is above everything in creation. You are greater than the sun, greater than the moon, greater than the stars. They live longer, but they can't think. It serves you, the sun does. You have power to will and bring into existence what you will. That power is not given to no creature in the universe but the man and the woman made in the image and likeness of God. Animals cannot will and bring into existence their will. Animals can't vision and bring into reality their vision. Sun can't do it, moon can't do it, stars can't do it, mountains can't do it. They're stronger than you, they outlive you. But you can master them. They cannot master you. That is how powerful the human being is. But you are a long, long way from what God intended for us to be. First thing God gave man was power. First thing the slave master took from us was power. Second thing God gave us was dominion. Second thing they took from us was the ability to rule ourselves. They had to be our ruler. They had to be our master. So when they are the ruler, they lay down the rules. So the rule that they laid down for us were rules that pleased them, not necessarily God. So those are the rules of life that you've been following. Not what God laid down, but what your former slave masters and their children lay down for you. That's not adequate. In fact, it's not right. So there got to be a change of masters. And seems to me that whatever is riding you up here, you need to throw that rider off and get a rider that will ride you properly. And that's why they call the kingdom of heaven the kingdom. It's not that the king is dumb. But the D-O-M part of it represents the dome. The king is in the dome. The dome is here. If the king in your dome is God, then you govern your body and everything around you by the rules and laws of the king that's sitting on the throne in your dome. But if your slave master is sitting up in your dome as the king in your house, no wonder you acting like such a fool. He's miseducating you. You just got the wrong stuff up here. So we got to overthrow this government and replace it with good government. This is why Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. And if the good shepherd is the king in your house, then you don't need a leader. You got one. See, most of you are looking for some leader to lead you. Well, I mean, people say, Farrakhan, you're the leader, you know, well, that's fine. I appreciate that. But let me tell you something. I'm not going to allow you to put everything on me. Like you can't think. He was saying, Farrakhan is my leader. It's okay. I mean, if you can't do any better, I mean, it's all right. I'll do the best I can. I'll do the best I can. But real leadership never makes people dependent on them. Real leadership forces the people to grow so that they don't have to depend on nobody but themselves and God. Every leader dies. Every prophet dies. Death comes to all men. Only God is eternal. So why would anybody want to be your leader and they can't lead you forever? But God leads forever. God leads and guides forever. So the best leaders are they who take you to God and leave you there. Good leaders don't want people worshiping them. Good leaders know that only God is worthy of worship. Good leaders know that the imperfect should never be worshiped. Only the perfect should be worshiped. So the good leader gets out of the way so you can see the perfect. See, but believe me, when we are vain, self-seeking, egotistical, self-aggrandizing, then we want people to look to us. And this is what happens when the leader dies. The people go off. Oh, my leader is gone. No, your leader is never gone if the Lord is your shepherd. Now let's look at this from the Quran, because the Quran, and every one of you should try to get a Quran. I have many Bibles, I have many Qurans. I read both. Some of my Muslim brothers will say, well, Brother Farrakhan, you don't need to read the Bible, just stick with the Quran. I say, yeah, brother, but you don't have my assignment. You know. When Prophet Muhammad sat down with Christians, he didn't talk to them out of the Quran. He didn't judge them out of the Quran. He judged them out of the revelation that they claimed they believed in. When he sat with the Jews, he judged them out of the Torah, not out of the Quran. So he couldn't judge them out of a book that he knew nothing about. He had to know the Torah, he had to know the gospel as well as the Quran. And when you live in the society of people that we live in today, you just can't study the Quran and not study the Torah or study the gospel. You have to know all the books that the people believe in so that you can bring them from the known to the unknown. And that's why Brother Farrakhan is very successful in talking to people of all faiths. Because I believe, I believe that I understand a little better than the narrowness of those of us who fall in love with our rituals and don't understand the truth that undergird the ritual and think that we got a different religion because the rituals are different. So I want to look at this, who you are from the Quran, because when I get finished tonight, which won't be long from now, I want you to see your ability to overcome anything that is in your path. Now, you are black people, and I said Jesus was your brother. See, what they don't tell you in American racist society was that Jesus was a man of color. Now they don't want to talk about that, but they paint him as blonde-haired and blue-eyed, or brown-haired and brown-eyed. But the truth of the matter is, from all the descriptions that were given of him, and you waiting for his return, I expect, how you gonna recognize him? A dude come down with blonde hair and blue eyes, long dress, say, I'm he. And if the book say had hair like lamb's wool and feet like burnished brass, and he's a black man come knocking at your door, you call 911. Say there's a Negro at my door talking about he's Jesus. Get the police immediately. He came unto his own, but his own received him not, because they weren't looking for him, they were looking for a Caucasian. You say, well, his color don't make any difference. You're right. But evidently it made a difference to you. Since you painted him white, why didn't you leave him like it was? Then maybe you would have had more respect for black people, since your savior is white or black. See, I couldn't beat Rudy Gamage, up if I knew he was the brother of Jesus? Said, whoa, wait a minute, talk to me. This is Jesus's brother, Johnny. I can't beat Jesus's brother. But see, when you see him as subhuman, when you see him as an animal, when you look through the eyes of white supremacy, then you're not looking at a fellow human being. You're looking at an animal, and you're going to get rid of this animal. See? But in order to see him as an animal, you got to be an animal yourself. See, this is why today America needs a doctor, because America is sick as hell and the people in America are sick. You need a doctor, not a doctor to work on your body, but a doctor to work on the heads of America. That's it. Now let's look at it from the Quran. The Quran says Allah created Adam. One part of the book it says from dust, and another part it says he created him from black mud and fashioned him into shape. Now Muslims in this audience, don't deny the truth. He's the father of all human beings. Well, if he's created of black mud, he can't be white. No, I'm not racist. I hate racism. I hate it. I hate that any man would think he's better because of some color of his skin or the lack of it. That is sickness. But what I'm dealing with is not racism, but what I'm dealing with is the end of racism. Now look at this. If the father of all human beings is black, now that's something. Well, you should honor your father and honor your mother. Now the scholars of white America, the anthropologists, the historians, the geneticists agree with the Quran. The geneticist says light skin is recessive, meaning weak. Dark skin is dominant, meaning strong. That's what they say. They say light eyes are recessive, dark eyes are dominant. You can get the recessive from the dominant, but you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. So what are they saying? They're saying that light-skinned people, you can have babies, but you can't produce that black one. The lighter you are, the less black is in there. So two white people can't produce yellow, much less brown or black. But the black man, oh, look, this is real. The black man can produce an albino, which is blonde head and blue eye. So, who is the original man? See? All right, let's look at this. Elijah Muhammad said, the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. Now let's see if that's true. just want to talk to you about who you are. And I'm going right in the Quran. I'm going to bring it right out of the Quran. So you're not going to say I'm preaching some racist stuff. Because I hate racist stuff. I do. But I love truth. Now let's look at this. Allah says he fashioned Adam out of black mud. And he breathed into him his inspiration. Then he says he taught him all of the names. Now that's deep. Didn't say he taught him some of the names. Taught him all. Now the word all, I don't know it in Arabic. You got to help me out. But all in English means all. Now, look at this. Wait. Look at this. The Quran teaches if all of the trees were as pens and all of the seas with 7 seas added to them were as ink, you could never exhaust the words of Allah. Then it says in the Quran, everything that Allah created is a word. And everything that he created has a name. So if he taught Adam all of the names, he just didn't say this is grass, this is a peanut, this is a grapefruit. He taught him the nature, the function, and the law out of which all things were created. Why would you teach Adam that, God? Because you're going to make him a master of everything that you created, and that's why you call man Khalifa. Khalifa means vicegerent, one that stands in the place of another. He is a man standing in the place of God, and he's a black man. He's the original man. He's God of the universe by Allah's permission. Now, let's not get too excited. That is your potential. If that was in your father, that's in you. If your father had the potential to master all of the universe, how are you less than your father, except that you don't have the directions of how to live like your father was instructed to live? But look at this. God said to the angels, bow down to this man that I created. And all the angels submitted except Iblis. Iblis, God asked him this question: what hindered you that you did not bow down when I commanded you? Iblis's answer: I'm better than he is, for I am made of fire while he is made of dust or black mud. See, now when you start arrogating to yourself that you are better than somebody else and negating because of your thinking God's instruction, and look at what happened. Iblis was told, it is not for you to behave proudly therein. So get out of it, driven away. Now look, Satan is one remote or removed from the face of God. He is a powerful being asked to bow down, and he gives God the weak argument. I'm better, that's why I didn't bow down. You had no right to ask me to bow down to something less than I am. See, and the reason white folk may lose their lives today, come on, because if God send you a black man to save your raggedy backside, look, you're gonna reject him because he's black. Because you white, I'm better than he is. I'm not gonna follow him. I'm not gonna bow down. Well, die then. Because that is how God is gonna save you. He will send you a black man, and if you can't hear that black man, then death will pass on America as sure as it passed on Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon and Rome.